Here we are. Greetings from the Erie Coast. This is Mad Shad. This is another episode of the Zoot Report, Sunroof Edition. Oh, wow, folks. It is a beautiful day here in Northeast Ohio. The sun is shining. It is 85 degrees. It is a clear, well, it was a clear blue sky until all the chemtrails came out. Anyway, yeah, it is, yes, Queen, slay, Queen, yes. It is Pride Month. Pride. What Pride? Pride Month. So, I don't know. It's a Pride Month. It's the whole month that we celebrate the LGBTQIA community. Yeah. Basically, all the gays. And the flag, it also includes the maps. You know what the maps are? The minor attracted persons. Yeah, I guess, yeah. That color's in there. Yeah. Got a big problem with that. Yeah, I do. And you should too. So should the gays. But we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. Yes, sir, we are. Yes, ma'am, we are. It is Pride Month. You know what they say about pride? Pride cometh before the fall. That is true. Pride cometh before the fall. I think that's a biblical. Is that Proverbs? Some shit like that. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a. Not. It's been a while since I've read the Bibles. Yes, I said that plural. But man, lots of knowledge, lots of wisdom in that. You know, it sure is. So yeah, pride cometh before the fall. I wish I had looked up the scripture. Please feel free in the comments to drop it. You know, if you know it. If you know it, say it. You know, we can learn a lot from a... All right. Yes, sir. We can learn a lot from a, 2,000-year-old society. One that's been around since that time. We can learn a lot. Now, mind you, that society does actually advocate and condone such practices. Yeah, Israel and Jerusalem are pretty GHEY. Yeah. Wow, all the cool cars are out. Badass. Yes, it is Pride Month. Time when a community has risen to the status that they have their own month to celebrate. And there's festivals, and there's parties, and there's parades, and debauchery, and oh my God, it's wild. It's wild. It's straight up Sodom and Gomorrah. It is. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. So, Pride Month. Why is Pride Month a thing? A whole month? Well, I tell you why. It is Subversion 101. It is subversion. Pride cometh before the fall. If a nation has too much debaucherous pride, in itself, it will fall. Every empire has done that. I mean, you know, I did the name drop Sodom and Gomorrah. We all know what that was. Sodom, sodomy, right? That's where that word came from. I guess Sodom was the male side, the blue light special, and then Gomorrah was probably the female side. I don't know, but sodomy is definitely named after Sodom, a city that was destroyed. Look it up in the Bible if you don't know that story. Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah. They were sleeping with man, woman, child, beast. Yeah, and that's... They fell. They fell hard. Yeah. What was it? Lot's wives turned around and turned to salt. You know, looking, you know, they were told to leave and never look back. And she looked back. Because of all the fun times that she had there. I just want to see the city one last time. Just one more time. Boom, you're a pillar of salt. Fucking idiot. There's a story, there's a message there too, right? Pride cometh before the fall. So the subversion, it goes deep. Here's a story for you. Jezebel, Babylon. So Babylon conquered Israel, or conquered Jerusalem. How did they conquer it? Well, first they sent in Jezebel. Jezebel was a seductress. She was actually she was she's probably a man. If they kept to the history of their religion, yes, the Anunnaki religion of Babylon. I forget the god. Was it? It keeps changing. Jezebel was the embodiment or a high priestess. She was either and or of Inanna. Inanna was the high priestess and was one of the goddesses in the Anunnaki. And she of course was a seductress and a goddess of war. She was good at war because she could change. And one of her special powers was she could change sexes, and she could seduce just about anything. She would change herself into anything to have sex with anything, to have offspring, abominations. Yeah, and that's what she promoted, which destroy a nation. Destroy a nation. Her followers, her temples, all her priestesses, high priestesses, were transgender men. Were men that were transformed into females, either by magic or by turning them into eunuchs and feminizing them. Yeah, they did that shit thousands of years ago. Yes, they did. They still do it. So castration, there you go. Boom, you're now female. But not. You're an abomination. You're still a man, but now you're a seductress, a goddess of sex and debauchery, and they promote that. being a high priestess in the Inanna Ishtar. I think when Jerusalem faced Babylon, she had evolved to Ishtar, and then of course to Jezebel. The god Marduk, which was their chief god, Marduk, Moloch, whatever. Do what you want, but the baby goes on the fire. Constant sacrifices to the bull god, that kind of shit. Everybody talks about it. It's all throughout, all throughout the Old Testament. This is what we're facing now. Those who are doomed, those who do not learn their history, are doomed to repeat it. Guess what, folks? We're repeating it. Pride Month. Pride Month with I'm gonna coin Hutch's term, the Decepticons, the High Priestess of Inanna, Ishtar, Isis, whatever you want to call her. So many names, but I like to go to the original name. I invoke that name, and I hope she burns on a pile of shit covered with flies. That was a joke that the Israelites made to the Babylonians when they came forth. They make these proclamations. Hey, my great God is the great God Beelzebub, or Beelzebub. That's an act. Look it up. That's an interesting album, Beelzebub. My great, once again, Marduk, Moloch, changing names, Baal, same thing, same guy, Marduk, the name that should not be said, right? But once again, they changed the name. He is the great Beelzebub, and in the Israelite language, Hebrew language, Old Hebrew, they laughed. They said, "Oh my God, really?" To me, that means you are the God of shit, Lord of flies, Kingdom of flies. Yeah, Kingdom of shit, Lord of flies. Something like that. Babylon still, sacked Jerusalem and all that. But before they did, they sent in Jezebel. Jezebel came in with her parade of debauchery. It's interesting what they did. There was houses of ill repute in Jerusalem, but they were kind of like secretive, speakeasy kind of things, right? You got to know someone to get in, right? Well, they infiltrated, set up shop, and started a series of brothels, which they had the most beautiful, seductive women, quote unquote, women that were men. The high priestess of Inanna, the high priestesses of Jezebel. And the men and women, yes, because they offered that as well, the lesbian. They offered bestiality in their brothel. Yeah. And it was secret at first. Secretive. You had to know somebody to get in. But then they revealed their secret. Obviously, you find out you're fucking a guy. You're like, oh shit. But they convinced them and they drugged them. They would fill the whole temple up with hallucinogenics and weed smoke, and drink this drink. And they in turn turned the men that were having sex with their high priestesses, quote unquote, Decepticons, and convince them to become Decepticons themselves. You understand that? So the men that screwed men that looked like women became the same as what they screwed. And they in turn went out into the city, flaunting their feminine sexuality as men, and made it mainstream, made it acceptable. Sure, a few had to die. A few people were stoned. Yes. Oh, I forgot to say bestiality and children as well. Yes. So the whole debauchery gambit. But the Decepticon whore was how they got him in. Got him into the brothel. Got him into the spell. They were literally working a magical spell, is what they say. This is how they work their magical spell. And of course, you know, there's a lot of pride in that. There's a lot of, you know, being part of this secret society that now is more open and bringing everything out to society, and society is accepting it, even if they don't participate in it. You understand that? It's like, well, what can you do? That's, you know, they're a bunch of idiots. They do their thing. That's disgusting. Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. And absolutely a nation destroyer. It destroys nations. It makes them weak. It makes them non-virtuous. Society loses its morals. And the debauchery comes in. If you can convince a group of people to live this type of lifestyle, you can convince them to do anything. Subversion 101. Relativism. Relativism is the belief that you can be whatever you want to be. I.e., a guy to a girl to a guy. You want to be a furry? Okay. I don't know. I guess if you're a male transgender furry, you're taking care of like the gay, the transgender, and the bestiality all at one shot. I don't know. So, but yes, that is how they did it. And when the society was absolutely demoralized, humiliated, demoralized, destabilized, they brought in their troops and destroyed and sacked Jerusalem. Yeah, that's how they do it. And Jerusalem wasn't the only one. Everyone that claimed their name, everyone that they conquered, set up idols and temples, and made sacrifices, like I said, sometimes daily, sometimes 3 times a day, 5 times a day, sometimes 5 times a day for 30 days. And they convinced the people to do it themselves through their pride. Look how prideful they are in this new way of life. Break free from your chains. Enjoy the desires and fruits of life. What's the god's name now? It's Dionysus. Yeah. You'll see his crap everywhere too. Dionysus. Yeah, that's the god of gluttony. all gluttony, food, sex, debaucherous acts, anything and everything that you can do that's absolute debauchery and abomination. That's the god of. And they're well, when you've seen remember the Paris Olympics? Yeah, a little fat naked guy with the beard, makeup. That was Dionysus. Yep. And he would do that. He would have sex with everyone and everything, and then he would literally let them feast upon his flesh. Yeah. He would offer himself up to the banquet. They have this whole thing about the banquets and the rituals. This is part of the rituals. And you know what? You gays, I get it. You're like, what the fuck? I was born this way. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe some people are. I don't know. Yeah. But it's definitely a choice. It's definitely a lifestyle. And if you're gay and you're participating in the downfall of society, you're a communist. That you are a subversive. You are practicing subversion, and you're destroying this nation. If you're going to these pride parades, if you're teaching kids and you're openly gay, wow, look at me, bro, fucking transgenders as teachers? No, that's hell no. The one fucker in Canada with the double Z's, prosthetic boobs. A 70-year-old man dressing like a woman with this massive fucking knockers. What? No, hell no. And we've seen this with the Biden era. They ramped it up. That's part of it. That's part of the subversion, the debauchery of it. Yeah, they said they were coming for our children. Remember that song? We're coming for your children. They did. They did come for our children. They did exactly what they said they were going to do. What the fuck? Yeah, we sit here like, whatever. All right. Yeah, be gay. Okay. That's cool. But gays, let me tell you something. If you're gay, you have more of a fucking responsibility. If you're going to continue to be gay, you have more of a responsibility to keep the kids out of it, to not be an influence, to not groom whatsoever. And why are we tolerating this shit? I get it. Gays, whatever. It's something that's been going on since the dawn of time. When it's part of population control. It's part of that taboo. It's the forbidden fruit, right? But you have an obligation and one hell of a responsibility to not influence the children. Children are off limits. That's bar none, hands down. Don't come for our children. If you're openly flaunting your LGBTQ flag in a third grade classroom, you should be buried with that flag. You should bury that flag. You should be out. There should be charges. There should be very irate people saying very mean and obscene things to you on a constant, regular basis. Children are off limits. Yet they did it. They went for the children, and we did nothing. These pride months, these pride parades, it's like a celebration, a victory celebration. Do you understand that? I have a big problem big problem with the sexualization of children. Children are the most purest things in the world. I guess, until they get to about, I don't know, 9 years old. Until puberty, and then it's all downhill from there. You can't stop the hormones. They should be nurtured. They should be taught. They should be filled with morals and virtues. Oh, I'm getting text on my Meshtastic. I hear it. I'm running the Wio and the card, and I did pretty good today. Anyway, carry on with my pride. Pride cometh before the fall. You know how many there? This is a fringe group. Okay, this is not a mainstream thing. This is a very, very much a fringe group that is demanding and celebrating the victory over the subversion of America, and some would say the world. Pride Month. Pride cometh before the fall. Like I said, you want to be gay, be gay. You want to be trans, be trans. You want to be a furry, be furry. Stay the fuck away from the kids. Definitely stay the fuck away from the kids. I mean, seriously, if you're a 70-year-old man and you feel the need to put on a dress, high heels, and all this bullshit, and go walking around town where kids can see you, and where they can ask mommy and daddy, "Mommy, Daddy, why is Grandpa wearing a dress? What's wrong with that?" It's planting the seed. It's planting the seed. Now that kid is ruined for life. That's all. You know? You know, you just can't unsee that shit. Ouch. Sorry, I had to stop and get gas. I spent $100 on 21 gallons. Good Lord. 21 and some change. Anyway. Pride. Pride cometh before the fall. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And you know what? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that, oh, well, you know, there's been gay people all yeah, there has. In every society, in every history, in every part of history, right? The Indians called them two spirits. There's so many names. There's so many, Katoys of Thailand, the Asians of Japan, Asians, I don't know. There's so many names. The Volva of Norse, the Arger, and is it Arger? Yeah, Mare, basically a mare, right? The Greek. Oh my God! Of course, but it was not mainstream. It was a fringe society. It was a fringe group. It was a subculture. A subculture. Right? Not a subspecies, but a subculture. And they operated with a degree of decorum. They didn't go prancing around town. Maybe they did sometimes, but they're like, hey, calm the fuck down. The natives are getting restless. They're grabbing pitchforks. You know what happened to Jeffries? Oh my goodness. Oh God. Oh my God. Hey, we joke, whatever. I've had gay friends. I mean, the funnest I've ever had was just, in a fucking Walmart or in a Waffle House, a Walmart too, a Waffle House, and a bunch of gays just start going off. And everybody's trying to give them shit, and they're just like, fuck you. I mean, I was like, hell yeah, get some, right? Give them hell. I actually do appreciate a fierce flamer that can talk shit. It's like, wow, gets it. They get it. They're smart. But once again, there's a time and place. Our schools are not the time and place. It's not. Walking down the middle of Main Street is not the time and place. There was a time in this country where we had patriot parades. We had veterans parades. We honored those that really deserved pride. Our pride in them. I don't have any pride in this pride community. Like I said before, one, they condone maps. Minor attracting persons. All chomos need not breathe my air. Hey, that's part of the reason why I started Trial by Accident. It is the destroyer of nations. It is the Tiamat. Tiamat is their chaos god. Talking about the whole Anunnaki paradigm again, pantheon. And yes, Tiamat, she was a beautiful woman that could turn into a world-devouring dragon. Imagine that. You want to let your freak flag fly. There was a time when if you had neck tattoos or facial tattoos or tattoos that showed on your arm, chances are you wasn't getting no job. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody's all tatted up. Everybody's part of this subculture, this LGBT whatever. LGBT, the gays. They're all part of that subculture. And there's subcultures within the subculture. Man, girl, get some. Like the LGBTQ. Inclusiveness. Diversity. Right? DEI. Diversity, inclusiveness, equity. How does... What does that mean? Well, I know what it means. Equity is what your house has. How can a person have equity? I get it. All men we're all created equal. All men were created equal. Smith and Wesson made, whatever. You know the saying. You know that thing, right? We allowed this to happen. And we're going to allow the destruction of our country through this movement. Now there is people that are pushing back. There's absolutely pissed off moms and dads out there. They're like, get that fucking piece of shit out of our school. There's no reason for them to be teaching. My 9-year-old son came home one day wearing lipstick. No. No. This is not happening. There were committee hearings. There were PTO meetings where people brought books from the school, from the fucking library, that had explicit sexual content and descriptions and pictures, and began to read them. And they're like, no, that's inappropriate. Yeah, damn right it's inappropriate. Yeah, damn right it is. Why is it in our elementary school library? Why are our children doing book reports on this shit? How to please a man with your mouth. What the fuck? Where are the pitchforks? Where are the torches? Where is the wood chipper? Just saying. We have fallen asleep. Those who do not speak out against this subversion of our society, it's social engineering at its finest. This is social engineering. This whole pride, gay thing. It is. You are complicit. There's either another subculture, which I'll support them. Fuck it. Is gays against gays, gays against the whole children, sexualizing of the children. I forget, they've got names and shit. They got a 501c, whatever, right? This comes right from the rules of radicals. Rules for radicals. Saul Alinsky. Turn everybody into pinko commie fascist useful idiots, and then when total totalitarianism is put into play because of their efforts, take the useful idiots around the back and shoot them. Put them in a shallow grave. So yeah, the wokeness, the woke agendas, all of that, they are working for the destruction of our society and the destruction of our nation. They're trying to take it over. It's a war. It's a war, folks. 5th generational warfare. Welcome to it in our lifetimes. In our children's lifetimes. I mean, I don't have any problem with that kind of behavior. And I'm going to quote Hutch again. But if that is your defining trait of who you are, oh, you take it up the ass, oh, you suck dick, or oh, you lick pussy. Sorry, I'm being explicit. Then there's something extremely wrong with you. when did homosexuality become a political movement? It never was. Throughout history, it never was. But it's been exploited as such. And it's been weaponized. Once again, subversion. You take the most marginalized people, the fringe society, the subcultures. Usually it's racism. Usually it's religion. But now it's this whole thing. Alright. How you doing? Why you be mean to your dog? You'd like me to jerk you around like that? Anyway. People are idiots, okay? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Remember that? That song? Yeah, that's a song. Alright, where are you at there, lady? Backing up here. Sorry, I'm fighting really hard to not go fucking yell at this lady for jerking her old dog around with a leash. Anyway, this has been Mad Shad. Happy fucking Pride Month. We are watching the downfall of society. Downfall of civilization right here. Pride Month. Let's go.